Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Thea Mayer. Here we are on day 276, and I'm continuing a story from 1001 Arabian Nights. The story of the slave girl, Anis al-Jalis, in Nur al-Din Ali ibn Khaqah. Now you might remember that they had fled Basra, sailed to Baghdad, had found their way to an alleyway where there was a gate that led into the pleasure garden of Harun al-Rashid, the caliph. And there, the caretaker, Sheikh Ibrahim, had come out, or actually he was on his way in when he saw these loiterers on the bench, and he'd been given permission by Harun al-Rashid to do whatever he wanted with people that were sleeping or carousing there in that alleyway of the garden. So he'd gone in to get a stick to beat them. Anyway, he saw that they were beautiful young people, so he gently awakened Nur al-Din by rubbing his feet, and then invited them into the pleasure garden, letting them know that it was his. Nur al-Din asked Sheikh Ibrahim to go get them some food, which he did. And when he returned, they were standing at the doorway, or a doorway into one of the pleasure palaces, the palace of statues that was Harun al-Rashid's, the caliph's. Well, Ibrahim let them in, stating that this was his as well. They ate. After they had finished eating, Nur al-Din asked for him to go get wine, which he was not going to have anything to do with because it was against his principles to drink wine. But eventually they talked him into it Nur al-Din did, by saying, take the ass and have somebody else put the wine into the saddlebags. You don't have to touch it, and we'll get it out of the ass's saddlebags when you get back. So that's what happened. And Nur al-Din then asked for all of the utensils and all of the special wares that were used for presenting wine, which Ibrahim let Nur al-Din into the storehouses of the caliph. And Nur al-Din returned with all kinds of instruments for drinking wine. In the meanwhile, Sheikh Ibrahim had gone out and picked fresh fruit for the two of them. Nur al-Din had found some nuts in one of the storerooms, and Anis al-Jalis and Nur al-Din began to drink wine together and to get a little intoxicated in the process. And Sheikh Ibrahim had sat off quite a ways, just not to partake in any of that. Now, Anis al-Jalis and Nur al-Din got to talking with each other, and Anis al-Jalis said, I'll bet I can get him to start drinking wine. And Nur al-Din was like, no way, there's no way you can get him to start drinking wine. He's committed not to ever drink. Anis al-Jalis said, watch, do what I say and you will see. Let us call him over to at least sit at the table with us while we drink. And then, after you have your next glass of wine, go over to the couch and lay down and feign sleeping. And then you will see what happens. Nur al-Din agreed to try this. And so he said, Sheikh Ibrahim, how can you say that you are our host if you allow us to sit here and drink by ourselves without your good company? Sheikh Ibrahim said, no, I cannot join the table. Then how can you call yourself a host, said Nur al-Din. You don't have to drink, but at least come over and sit with us and share your great company with us and entertain us with your life and your story. So Sheikh Ibrahim came over. He agreed, and he sat down at the table with Anis al-Jalis and Nur al-Din. Well, they talked a little bit, and Anis al-Jalis poured her and Nur al-Din another glass of wine. Nur al-Din drank his, and after he had drank it, he got up and lay down on the couch that was very close by. And after he had done this, he acted like he had fallen asleep. At that, Anis al-Jalis said, "See? Do you see what he does? He always does this. We drink a little bit, and then he has to fall asleep. And he leaves me there by myself, with no good company at all." Well, Sheikh Ibrahim said, "But I am here with you." "Yes, but you are not drinking. If you want to share my company, then drink with me." Sheikh Ibrahim was like, "No, I can't do that." "Then what kind of host are you? You must drink with me and keep me company. It is ill luck to drink by yourself." I can't," said Sheikh Ibrahim. But Anis al-Jalis could see that he was softening. "Oh, but you must. Share with me one glass of wine and share some good conversation with me. That will be enough." Okay, said Sheikh Ibrahim. "One glass, and one glass only." So Anis al-Jalis poured them both a glass of wine. And no sooner had the wine touched Sheikh Ibrahim's lips than he drafted the whole thing down. Well, Anis al-Jalis poured another. No, said Sheikh Ibrahim, not another. "Oh, but you must drink with me," said Anis al-Jalis. And as Sheikh Ibrahim was already feeling the warmth of the wine in his body, he drank another glass. And at this, Nur al-Din, watching what was going on, got up from the couch and began laughing at Sheikh Ibrahim, which Anis al-Jalis joined in, and Sheikh Ibrahim could not control his laughter either, and all three of them began laughing uncontrollably. Then the merrymaking indeed started, and all three of them sharing the wine and conversation, carousing with each other like young children almost, young teenagers they were, laughing, cajoling. They were delighted with each other's company. Now, as this was going on, Anis al-Jalis, she said, "Night has fallen upon us," for the sun had set and had gotten darker and darker. They could still see, but not well. And Anis al-Jalis said, "Please let me light one of these candles." Sheikh Ibrahim said, That's fine. Light one, that will be enough." But Anis al-Jalis did not light one. She lit all of the candles in the palace of statues. And then there were candelabras hanging from the ceiling. Of course, there was a pulley at the ceiling and a rope at the side in order to lower them down enough to light the many, many candles that made up the candelabra. And Nur al-Din said, "Sheikh Ibrahim, let me light one of the candelabras." Sheikh Ibrahim said, "Fine, light one, but that is enough." So Nur al-Din, he brought one candelabra down and lit all the candles on that, and then went to the other candelabras and lit all of them until the palace of statue was lit up as brightly as it ever had been. All the candles were lit. Now, it just so happened that Harun al-Rashid, our caliph, was in, the upper story of his palace. And Jafar, his head vizier, was there as well, as was his main servant, Manuk, I think was his name. And it just so happened that Harun al-Rashid looked out the window toward the Tigris River, and as he did, he turned his attention, quite naturally, toward the glowing light from the palace of statues. And with this, he called out to Jafar, "You cursed dog of a vizier!" And we'll leave the story there and find out what happens next. Thanks for joining. Have a good rest of your day or evening.